Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Christian Music Bros podcast. Once again, you should know me by now, but I'm Brendan, and this is Braden.
Hey everybody.
How are you doing today, Braden?
Today's been a good day. Tired but good. How about you?
Pretty good. And thank you to everyone who's tuning in and listening to our podcast. Remember, if you like what you're listening to, like, follow, and subscribe. And today, we're with Nick Detty, or Didi. I'm sorry. I told you I would should know stuff. But
all good.
Nick is the lead singer of Wiz at the Gate. So we'll let him introduce himself now, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. What's up, guys? My name's Nick. I sing for a band called Wolves at the Gate. Kind of a post-hardcore rock just band out of Ohio.
Thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Let's just start off nice and easy. Can you tell us a little bit about your music background, like how you got started in music, and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I just so happened to be wearing one of my, favorite band's t-shirts, Blindside. They're one of my biggest influences for music. Just because their record Silence is probably one of the most insane, just one of the most like genre defining records for me, like in that, like when I was growing up and like listening to music. Yeah, I mean, really, my musical taste like comes from all kinds of different backgrounds. I listened to, like, when I was in college and high school, like I was into hardcore a lot,
Mhm.
and that kind of got me into like metal and stuff. And that, like from then on, it just like that kind of like propelled me into like rock bands like Blindside and stuff like that, like bands that were just like truly like unique and creative and stuff. And not that there are, unique and creative hardcore metal bands out there, but like bands like Blindside, I think they really set the bar, for a lot of different musicians, just because they did things like so out of the box,
Mhm.
and it just sounded different. But yeah, I started like screaming and singing when I was like 14. Um, and I was like just mimicking bands, like, you find bands you like and you find tones that you like and you just kind of mimic that until you get it. And yeah, that kind of developed into what I'm doing today.
That's very cool. And yeah, Black Side was like one of the bigger, like, early 2000 mold, and they paved the way for a lot of these artists. So that's really cool too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brad, do you have anything you want to add off that?
Yeah, so you guys released an album not too long ago called Lost in Transition, which I was listening to that one recently. I love it. I'm a big metal fan, a hard rock,
Hmm.
all that stuff. So it was really
Yeah.
cool hearing you guys' album again because I've known about you guys since maybe 2014 or something. You guys have been
Hmm.
out there consistently putting out great stuff. So I want to ask, like, what's the story behind this new album? Which so many awesome songs off it. What's the story behind the album?
Yeah. So I mean that kind of ties into the musical influence question, which is cool. Because like, I mean, we did a back to school EP, I don't know, I think 2015, which has Thrice, Thursday, and Blindside on it. Like we did covers of those songs. And that was kind of the idea, is was like, yeah, let's pick like the three bands that we most like identify with when it comes to like musical influence and style and stuff. Um and those three bands came up, unequivocally. So it's just like, so we had like for years had thought of doing another cover album. We just didn't know, like gosh, like where do, there's so much music that is like torqued our, musical taste over the years, and just like really like reshaped us as musicians. Like there's all kinds of stuff out there that's just kind of like, but like what do we constantly come back to? What do we do? And like there was like obviously a few artists on there that are newer, that weren't quite in that realm, but they were definitely like songs that
Mhm.
were really cool and really wanted to do. Like the Billie Eilish song, or the 21 Pilots song. And the the 21 Pilot song is also more of just like showing some Ohio local love, because we love those guys and we've played lots of shows with them,
Mhm.
back in the day. So, um, Yeah, and it's just a really good song. Like we just thought it was a really good song to cover. But yeah, a lot of the songs on the Lost in Translation is like a lot of like musical like influence for us. You know, like 30 Seconds to Mars and Deftones and
Mhm.
obviously especially Linkin Park and stuff like that. So like yeah, I mean that also kind of helps you get a little insight on some of the bands that have also like shaped our musical taste as well.
Mhm. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Such a fun album with all the, different music that you guys are taking together, putting together with your own style. I love it, dude.
Yeah,
And,
thanks, man.
and that kind of blended into my next question. I was gonna say, can you tell us a little bit about these covers? But you kind of just answered the next question I have. So good job.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, um, moving gears a little bit, it looks like you've released a few Christmas singles. Can you tell us how that's different from like how you guys take that on that different versus like a normal song? How would you guys do about your single Christmas singles, or how did that come to be?
I think it's just in the like it's just the way the songs have kind of turned out, like because we've always done like our regular releases have always kind of like bordered in the middle of like some are rock songs, some are metal songs, some are like they kind of like go back and forth kind of thing. But yeah, it just kind of seems like that we've always done like a besides maybe "Oh Holy Night," like the song that
Mm,
the acoustic version that Steve covered. Most of our like Christmas songs have kind of been more towards the metal side, and that's been kind of nice because we don't do like a lot of metal songs. Like most of our stuff kind of like meets in the middle somewhere. That's like metalcore or post hardcore or something like that. But like yeah, we don't like go on full metal and
mm,
like there's not enough like cool like Christmas metal music out there, like ABR obviously certainly does a great job,
right.
but yeah, I mean I don't know, it just kind of like we've never really been like a band that kind of like just says like, yeah, we're gonna make this kind of song. It's more so that like Steve comes up with a riff or Joey comes up with a riff or something happens and then we just kind of go from there and it just kind of evolves into what it is. Um I think just particularly with like Lowborn, because Lowborn's been out over a year now,
Mhm.
and Dark Cold Night. This is more so like putting all that stuff into an EP for people, like just to more easily consume. Just because, like we've done a lot, we've done quite a few over the past several years. Um, so and just Lowborn definitely just being like our favorite, like out of all of them. I mean, Lowborn is definitely one of my favorites to perform. It's one of my favorites to listen to. Just because like I'm a metalhead at heart, but
Yeah.
when it comes down to it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Lowborn was just such a unique kind of thing. It just kind of happened like most of our stuff. Um plus I mean from the perspective of like Lowborn specifically, but with like most of our Christmas songs, like we, you know, there's obviously like the truer meaning of Christmas, outside of everything that's, I don't know what do you call it, like marketed or anything like that. The birth of Christ. And that like we the I guess the story behind the lyrics is like how could we tell the birth the story of Christ in a more
Mhm.
unique and more interesting way that you know might make people like think about the lyrics or think about like what's being said or might make it into more of an interesting light, I guess. So
Cool. How just like it's just like you guys are just so unique with like doing your own studio songs and you have the covers and then Christmas music and you don't just see
yeah.
like all these bands. You just see bands per se nowadays just doing like, oh, we're just gonna make our own songs, no covers, no Christmas songs. So it's just
Yeah,
really
it
cool
kind
to
of
see
seems
like
like
the
one or
unique
the
space.
other, right? You either do covers or you either do your original.
And that's what I like about your guys' music is just like this it's original and then you guys also do covers. So some
Hmm.
people you'll get people their traffic coming, oh look, a new cover, and then it's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. We're really pumped how well the cover album did. We honestly didn't really know like
Mhm.
how that was going to be um, received. It's kind of crazy because it's like it's one of Steve's favorite bands is Jimmy Eat World, and
Mhm.
that Sweetness cover is uh like still getting a lot of radio play. Like a lot of places are are playing that right now, which is like kind of awesome to see. So
Yeah. Brandon, you have anything you want to add off of this?
Yeah, so throughout the years, like I know so many friends who I've mentioned Wolves of the Gate to, whether in my church or whether people who aren't saved, and like they love your guys' music. I love when I mention their name, they perk up. They're like, "Yeah, Wolves of the Gate, we love them." Just throughout your guys' years, you have been very vocal in your faith in your music. And I know a lot of metal bands are out there in the Christian realm, and they're putting out music with their faith. A lot of metal bands seem to shy away from that, though. And yeah, I
mm.
love you guys are always vocal with it. You're always sounding in a way that's impacting people, whether Christians or not Christians. Just curious to know what goes into putting lyrics into your songs and like what empowers you and makes you passionate to not shy away from your faith in your music.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like music is the gift, right? Like, I mean, the true gift being able to like be able to have the ability to share the gospel with people. But I mean, at the end of the day, like our passion, aside from the gospel, is playing music. It's what we enjoy. It's what we love doing. And the fact that we get to do both is really like where the grace comes in. And it's like
Mhm.
it just it just makes the most sense. Like it would just feel like an arduous waste of our time if we were just like making music just to make music. You know what I mean? Because like if we were if we were making music just to make music or just to make money, like I guarantee you it'd sound a lot different. Sound a lot different than what it does now, and I don't think it would be very enjoyable for any of us really. But
Mhm.
no, I truly believe that like the Lord has given like each one of us just a passion for people and a passion for just wanting to create unique music and just like find different ways to communicate the gospel message through what we're doing. Um, because it's who we are, like it's who he has designed us to be. Um, and we've always all been on the same page with that. Like it's kind of crazy because there's never been a wavering moment of whether or not we think that we should do this. Like it is a unanimous like, no, we need to do, like we feel compelled, like we feel passionate to do this. Um, and really at the end of the day, I think a lot of bands fear ridicule, and I think they fear um backlash,
Mhm.
because like obviously like amongst anything in this world, even more so Christians are hated. Christian people don't like Christians. People don't, and to be honest, like personally, like it's hard to sometimes associate with other Christians and associate with the church because there's a lot of American church and institutions that do really, really stupid things, and they do like really, really like frustrating things that like, you know,
Yeah.
that the world will constantly like lump into with other Christians. You know what I mean? Like that's how the world operates. Like the world operates as like, well, if one Christian did something bad, then they all must be bad. Like that's just how our world works. That's how sin is. Um, and understanding that, like finding that like that middle ground to like accept that, but also just like also continue to just like, you know, help people like know that like Christ is the only way. Like Christ is the life giver. Like he is the one that has changed our hearts, and I think it's just showing that genuine like authenticity and just like that love of Christ. I think is what the best thing is, and that's why we don't like, we don't go out of the way to like shove it down people's throats because I think that's counterproductive too. We share the gospel message out of love and out of beckoning because like it is truly life changing.
All right.
It is truly like um God that saves, and it's just from there it's just like it's no different than any other band having whatever message that they want to have other than obviously it being the message of Christ. But like, we're sharing our message. We're sharing, and it's not even our message, it's God's message. Like we're sharing what we're passionate about, and that is like that is the death and resurrection of Christ. And um I think bands just like they focus too much on trying to like get traction and they focus too much on like trying to get their music out there and popularity and all this other stuff. And it's like, I mean, whatever, that's fine. Like I get, everybody, when you make art, you make something, like you want it to be appreciated, right? Like you want it to like have the same return value that you put into it. But when it comes to like being someone who is passionate about the gospel and like who wants to share that with people, like you have to forsake those things. Like those things honestly don't matter. I mean, like I said, dude, if I was in it for the money, if I was in it to be a musician that was like successful, my life and my ability as a musician would look much, much different, So, but we kind of get the best of both worlds, because I love our music. I love what we do. I love playing shows with these guys. Like, I love every aspect of it. And there's really never a dull moment, nor music gets to be more creative every round, and we get cooler and cooler. I mean, Steve is a lyrical and musical genius, as I've always said. But no, he's awesome at everything he does. Like, seriously, he has a talent. And I as far as the lyrics are concerned, like he's just a powerhouse. Like, I think the Lord has really given him a wonderful gift of being able to like be poetic and be like beautiful when sharing the gospel message, in the many different ways that we do. So.
I love that, man. That's awesome. It makes me love you guys even more, knowing that it's not just lyrics you're putting out there. This matters to you guys. You're all in it, unified, and then just putting out just great content using the gifts God's given you. That's amazing, dude. I love
that. Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with Brandon. And for those who have listening or watching, if you haven't listened to Wolves at the Gate Music, you can check them out. You can follow their social media pages. They're always posting sneak peeks of their song on their social media pages. We just have a few more minutes with you, Nick. We like to give our guests a platform to speak on, like whatever they want to bring up. So we'll give you the platform right now.
Oh,
we just like to give you guys like whatever you want to speak.
Well, this doesn't. No, it's all good. No, it doesn't happen very often. I'm a pretty like chill dude. So I don't. I'm not a. I don't ever really have rage against the machine moments. You know what I mean? Like, no. Well, first of all, tidbit. I mean, we are working on new music. If that hasn't been, apparent already. I know we've been making a couple of social media posts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've been kind of ramping up the merch store and stuff. So you guys want new threads or anything like that, like, be sure to be subscribed to our website. We kind of update that pretty constantly. But no, I mean, more so anybody, if there are any guys listening that, have been longtime Wolves of the Gate fans or even new fans, we do love you guys. We appreciate your support and just everything you guys do for us, and especially you guys too here. Brendan and Brandon, like, we legit, like, we would be nothing without any of you guys giving us love and support and being able to continue what we're doing. Like I said, even through small things like buying a t-shirt or stuff like that, or coming to shows and hanging out, like, seriously, all that stuff, like, all that stuff builds up, and it like shows, it shows like the amazing things that like the Lord is doing through all of our music and just kind of the crazy places that he's led us. And that obviously all of this is to his end, and he will, God works for the good of those who love him, and he is good to us. He is. And he does work for all of our good, and that I think that he's truly given us something wonderful that we've been able to share with everybody. And I'm glad people like it. I'm glad people are digging it so much, and it's still doing really well. And, it's getting a lot of radio play, and like the label's happy. And, because really, I mean, every record we say it, it's kind of a joke, but not really. It's like, this might be our last one, who knows? So, which, I'd love to keep making music until I'm, 50, 60 years old, but, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, it's just been such a crazy ride the past 10 years. And it's crazy to even think that it lasted that long. Because I can certainly remember when my parents were just like, oh, like, this is just was just a phase, And then next thing I knew, we're in like Germany playing a festival, and we're touring Europe, and we've toured the country,
Yeah.
coast to coast several times. And so, yeah, genuinely, if there was something I had to pick that, I felt passionate about to make sure that people knew, it was that, that we love you guys so much, and we are so unbelievably grateful for all the love and the support over the years that you guys have given. And that we believe that there is a God who is good, and a God who has sent his son to die for our sins, and pay a price that we should have paid but could not, and that he did the work for us, and there is beauty, and that there is life in the blood of Christ, and that, my whole reason for existence. So
And
So
again, like those who are listening, you can check their website for tour dates. You can check out their new revamped merch site, or you can go on Spotify, YouTube, and all that to listen
all of
to
it,
music
all
everywhere.
of it.
Brandon, do you have anything else you want to say before I wrap this up?
yeah, thank you guys for all you guys at Wills of the Gate for making music out there, because it's can be hard to find some good Christian, heavier music out there. So thank you guys for being a place that's always putting out great stuff, being creative with it, being bold in your faith. Like, again, I love how so many friends of mine who aren't Christian, or some that are Christian, like they know your guys' music. I had a friend go to your show recently. I think you did Memphis May Fire, and they talked about how amazing you guys were. So thank you guys out there for continually putting that music, continually pouring love towards the fans, and just being awesome at what God's given you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is tough, because I think a lot of bands get written off if they claim to be Christian, but I'm glad that we still have a lot of diehard people out there that are just
Mm-hmm.
really just enjoying the music, and that they just also, like, whether they're supportive of our sharing of the gospel message or not, that they're respectful in that manner, and that they're just it's like, oh well, we love the music, we may not agree, but we still love the music, and that still means a lot too. It's just like, well, cool, man, I'm glad you guys at least like the music, that's awesome. So yeah,
For sure. Mm-hmm.
And thank you again for joining us, Nick. We appreciate you.
yeah,
And
dude.
we also want to thank you for everyone that tuned in to listen. And we hope you guys all have a great week. And we'll see you next time.